Give me this microphone. What's going on, guys? This is going to be the most telling thing that Tucker is going to say in this podcast. He is about to reveal the revelation that he had about the media and his part in it and his regret in it. And I think this is the thing that kind of sparked him taking that swipe at Big Pharma when he was on Fox. Him not really caring and just going after the truth, just unabashedly, just going after it. This is going to explain a lot of what we've seen in the past few weeks. Let me play the clip for you. But first, I gotta bring you to the store. You thought you were gonna not see the store this episode. I'm too proud of it. I'm sorry, guys. Sold Not For Sale. We got hoodies, we got shirts, we got t-shirts, we got women's V-necks, and we got mugs. Come on, a big mug of truth. Ooh, maybe I should make that mug. That'd be a cool mug. We got the anti-WEF stuff. We got white, black. And if you're wondering why it's sequenced like black, white like this, it's because my wife made it. And ladies love sequences like that. She was very, very happy about that. So I let her do it, It's part of being married. But every purchase helps us fight against the demonetization and the limiting of our videos randomly. So thank you so much if you bought anything. But let's get right into this clip because it is amazing.
It's like these families like, no. My son or husband is dead.
Yeah,
but I'm just like, what? Why has the New York Times never written that story in 50 years? Like, I've spent my whole life in the media. My dad was in the media. Like, that is a big part of the revelation that's changed my life is the media are part of the control apparatus. Like, there's no, yeah, I know, because you're younger and smarter and you're like, yeah. But what if you're me and you spent your whole life in that world and to look around and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. Not only are they part of the problem, but I spent most of my life being part of the problem, defending the Iraq war. Like, I actually did that. Can you imagine if you did that?
Well, what do you think? What is one of your biggest regrets in your career?
Oh, defending the Iraq war.
That is it?
Well, I've had a million regrets, not being more skeptical, calling people names when I should have listened to what they were saying. Look, when someone makes a claim, there's only one question that's important at the very beginning, which is the claim true or not? So I say, you committed murder or you rigged the last election. Before you attack me as a crazy person for saying that, maybe you should explain whether you did it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for too long, I participated in the culture where I was like, anyone who thinks outside these pre-prescribed lanes is crazy, is a conspiracy theorist. And I just really regret that. I'm ashamed that I did that. And partly it was age, partly it was the world that I grew up in. So when you look at me and you're like, yeah, of course they're part of the means of control. I'm like, that's obvious to you because you're 28, but I just didn't see it at all. And I'm ashamed of that.
Isn't that what the media tries to do, though?
It's their only purpose.
Right.
They're not here to inform you. Really? Even on the big things that really matter, like the economy and war and COVID and like things that really matter that will affect you. No, their job is not to inform you. They are working for the small group of people who actually run the world. They're their servants. They're their Praetorian Guard. And we should treat them with maximum contempt because they have earned it.
All right. If you had to get a drink with any personality from CNN after this, who would it be?
I actually have one friend who's
Maximum contempt because they've earned it. That is a great quote. Treat them with maximum contempt because they've earned it. So true. And see, this is the thing. Like that right there, that's him basically. If you're a part of the mainstream media team and you turn and say that, there's no one who's on that team, the Maddows, the Lemons, the Coopers, the anybody, all of Fox, all of CNN, all of MSNBC, they're all going to look at you and be like, yo, like, what are you saying? What are you saying about us? You're saying that none of us inform people? You're pretty much going, okay, well, here's the veil, everybody, and let me just lift the veil off everybody's heads. These people are not here to inform you. See, it's one thing when Joe Rogan says it, right? Because Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan. It's like, oh, he's not a journalist. He's smoking weed. He's self-admittedly intoxicated most of his episodes, right? You hear from Russell Brand and you're like, oh, wasn't that guy a heroin addict at some point? He just speaks fast. He's a comedian. These are comedians. But then when all of a sudden, Tucker Carlson, again, somebody who's worked for CNN, somebody who's done the things, who's jumped through the hoops, who's said the things that we are so used to hearing mainstream media journalists say, the mouthpieces for, the way he put it, the small group of people that run the world. When you hear that person say it and say that they're regretful for going along with it and that they just couldn't see it, that's major. A lot of people aren't putting any importance in that, I've found. But for me, listening to that, that's huge. That's a huge thing to say. And again, you're walking into Fox after saying this. I feel like, aren't your colleagues going to be like, hey man, I heard you say we don't inform people. Like, it's not like he was like, nobody informs people except for Fox. It's like, he just put it out there. He put everybody on the table or under the bus, however you want to put it. You know, that's a serious speaking truth moment. I mean, that was like Rogan level. Like, he's just out there just saying it. Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is the thing that helped him get pushed out of Fox? Do you think that this helped them in their decision to oust him? I think it was a combination of things, like I've said before, but I think this podcast was a major turning point, not just for Fox, but for him himself, to actually look at things and go, you know what? I don't even know if I want to be a part of this anymore. Because again, when he made that video, when he took that swipe at Big Pharma and at mainstream media, when he called it all out, that was a big thing. I've said before, when you hear that clip, when you hear him talking, he's breathing really heavy. He's breathing as if he knows that something is going to happen after he says this, you know? Even in this podcast, you know, I'll give it up to the weather, but he's sweating in this podcast, you know? Maybe he always sweats. I don't know. I don't know him personally. But yeah, man, this was something. Like, I love this podcast. Again, this is the end of that podcast. There's only like 4 more minutes left in the podcast. So this was pretty much the last and most impactful thing he said. And yeah, I really do think it had an effect on him and on Fox. So let me know in the comments what you think, though. You know, set me straight. Maybe this doesn't mean anything, you know? Maybe you're in the camp of, man, he's controlled opposition and I don't believe anything he says. Let me know what camp you're in. All right. Other than that, I'm out.